So I'm clicking record now. Thank you again for joining our webinar. This is a webinar on the Woman-Owned Small Business Certification, otherwise known as WOSB. My name is James Forrest. I'm the Program Coordinator for the Northern California Procurement Technical Assistance Center, which is a mouthful, so that's PTAC for short, Norcal PTAC. We are very thankful to be partnering with A New America Women's Business Center in Oakland for this event, and we have their director, Darlene Neal, who is joining us today to tell us a bit about their program and answer some questions during the Q&A. Thanks, Darlene. From our own team, we have Nancy Pigeon giving the main presentation. She is one of our procurement specialists. Before we hand things over to Darlene and Nancy, I'd like to give you a little bit of a lowdown on PTAC and the services we offer first. So just to start things off, PTAC, we are a nonprofit program. We are not a government agency, but we are set up to help small businesses achieve success in the government marketplace. We're funded primarily by the Defense Logistics Agency, otherwise known as the DLA. We also get extra grant funds from state and local sources. We provide all of our services at no cost to the public due to these grant funds. So you've come to the right place if you'd like some free assistance like this webinar here. We are hosted by the Humboldt State University Sponsored Programs Foundation that is located in Arcata, California, where that red star is and up in the top of the map there. Last year, NorCal PTAC, with these services, actually helped our clients win more than $268 million, and we're set to outpace that figure this year. The way we do this is with three basic core services. All of these are provided at no cost to you. The first is one-on-one counseling. This is the meat and bones of our service. Procurement specialists, for instance, Nancy Pigeon here, and also we have a pretty decent sized team of procurement specialists that can help you individually with just about any government contracting topic you can think of. If your business is located in one of these counties listed in green, we can meet with you via phone or video conference to walk you through the many processes of selling your goods and services to the government. I'll go over more of the application process in a minute. But second, I want to talk about our regular virtual workshops like this one that we hold on government contracting topics. If and when the COVID recedes as a threat, we will also have in-person workshops and office hours. So these are open to anyone to join from anywhere. So you can check our website at norcalptech.org to find more upcoming events. I'll go over some of those again. So I see we just got a question. Someone's attending from New York. You would be eligible, of course, you're very welcome to sit in these webinars and any future webinars we have. But in order to be a PTAC client and get one-on-one services, you do need to be in our service area. That is kind of the one hoop that we need you to jump through. The third service that we offer is this bid matching service that we pay for, but we offer to our clients for free. This gives you daily access to federal, state, local, and even prime contractor opportunities. So if you have this tool, you'll be notified when a bid request is posted that matches your desired criteria that you set up with your procurement specialist. Then you can stay on top of the opportunities made available to you. So the upshot is that if your business is located in one of these counties, you're eligible to apply for these one-on-one services. All counseling can be provided remotely by phone, email, video conference, etc. So you don't need to leave your office. It's important. To apply for NorCal PTAC services, all you need to do is go to our website. That's norcalptech.org. Click on the Apply Now button. That's the red button on the top page banner, and follow the instructions through step 7 and hit save. If you've ever worked with the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, you should instead email me at info@norcalptech.org. That's going to stay on the banner below, so you'll have plenty of time to write it down, and I'll send you a special link to apply. Just a quick note that we are just one of about 90 to 94-ish PTACs nationwide. So if you're not in one of these counties here in Northern California, don't worry. We encourage you to look up and apply for your own local PTAC who should be able to offer similar services in your area. And you can see that link there. You can also just Google find a PTAC, and that generally comes up with this APTAC website. You are all started off muted today for this webinar. We will have a Q&A at the end of the webinar. So if you have questions until then, we'd like you to enter them into the Q&A window. Now there are two windows in this version. This is webinar version of Zoom. There's a chat window and a Q&A window. The chat window we'd like to save if you're having some technical issue or something, or you'd like to say thanks, you can enter into the chat window. If you want your Q&A read aloud during the question and answer session, your question answered read aloud, then please enter it into this Q&A window and not the chat, because we won't be monitoring them in the same way. So with that, let's see, just one more reminder that we are recording this session, and the slides and the recording will be shared with everybody. So you don't need to be busy taking notes if you don't want to. We're going to hand things over to Darlene first to get things started. Tell us a bit about the Women's Business Center in Oakland.
Great.
Thanks, Darlene.
Great. Good morning and welcome to the webinar today. I am Darlene Neal. I am the director of the Women's Business Center located in the Oakland Fruitvale District. And A New America is a 20-year nonprofit whose mission is to serve in the communities to help with entrepreneurs in developing, starting their business. The Women's Business Center was in part funded by the U.S. Small Administration. And we have been a host of A New America Women's Center for the last 15 years. So done a lot of work in the communities to help entrepreneurs start their business and run a successful business. The Women's Business Center, we provide training, coaching, one-on-one coaching, and as well as counseling services, and a great deal of other support services as your business needs may be. Our goal is to really be there to help you as a resource. And our center is continuing to help with clients by working remotely. So you can make appointments with us either by phone or Zoom conference as well. Our goal is, again, to make sure that we're reaching out in the communities to help you as your needs be. Prior to joining New America, I served 15 years, or 28 years rather, in the financial services. So that helps me to provide a wealth of knowledge to businesses of various sizes. And so that is an opportunity to really showcase how we can help you in the communities with your business based on your needs again. We are delighted again to host today's webinar and a lot of great information to help you really look at how to pivot your business with possible contracts for the government to grow your business. And thank you again for joining us.
All right, thank you so much, Darlene. I appreciate that. Now we have Nancy Pigeon, who is going to be giving the main presentation. Nancy, I think it's time for you to take it away. Thanks so much. You're still muted, unfortunately.
Thank you.
There we go.
Sorry. Good morning. As James said, I'm Nancy Pigeon, one of the procurement specialists here at Norcal PTAC. I'm a former contracting officer for the Department of Interior, Department of Veterans Affairs, and the U.S. Air Force. Today I'm going to talk about the SBA Woman-Owned and Economically Disadvantaged Woman-Owned Small Business Program and Certification. Just a word about this slide. The information provided in this presentation, the information is accurate to the best of my knowledge. However, some information may have changed since compiling this presentation or may change in the future. Okay. So on our agenda today, we're going to discuss the purpose and the benefits of the WOSB, EDWOSB program, as well as the program requirements. We'll then go into the path to becoming certified. Beta Certify SBA.gov is the site to apply for certification. So we'll talk a little about using that platform. And then we'll review the timeline to certification, as well as how to maintain the certification. So that's on tap for today. And I'm gonna bring all that up. Okay. The WOSB, EDWOSB program was established by 13 CFR, Code of Federal Regulations 127-100. I provided the link here for you if you'd like to read about the entire program and entire regulation, just for more information for yourself. The purpose of the program was to ensure that WOSB, EDWOSB have an equal opportunity in federal contracting. But please note that this is a federal certification program, and it's not affiliated with local, state, or other women-owned certifications that are available. So some of the benefits of the woman-owned small business EDWOSB are that solicitations for contracts can be exclusively set aside for those programs, so that only those businesses can bid or propose on those solicitations, guaranteeing that a woman-owned small business will receive the contract. Under certain conditions, a contracting officer can award a contract as a sole source to a woman-owned small business, but the requirement is that no other woman-owned small business or EDWOSB can compete for the requirement. That means there's only one actual woman-owned small business that can provide that service or that product. And also the ceiling for the sole source can exceed 6.5 million in manufacturing and 4 million for NAICS codes other than manufacturing. Another benefit to the program is subcontracting opportunities. Prime contractors are required to fulfill SB goals that the government passes along to them. These include small business, veteran-owned small business, women-owned small business, and so primes will actively search for small businesses that can help them fulfill their goals. There are also opportunities for mentorship through, such as the Mentor Protege program. Go ahead and click and bring all these up at once. There we go. So as I mentioned, the SB goaling requirement in the last slide, the SBA establishes the government-wide goals each fiscal year. And historically, this has been 5% of federal contracts for women-owned small business. As you can see, the goal is not always met each year. It was met in FY19, but FY20 was behind in September, and I checked those numbers at the beginning of September. FY20 ended 30 September, so the push at the end of the year may push this percentage over 5%. And the update for that should be available by the end of the year, since some reporting for the DoD is delayed due to security reasons. So by the end of the year, we should know whether we met the goal or not and how much money was spent on the woman-owned small business. And as you can see, it's a large number there, 26 billion in FY19. And so far, 18.3 billion in FY20. The program has eligibility requirements, and the first three are that the entity be a small business. And I did include a link here that you can click on and go find out if you're a small business or not. It's based on NAICS codes and then the size of your business. So some NAICS codes are manufacturing NAICS codes, and those are usually determined by the number of employees you have. And the other type of NAICS codes are usually determined by your annual receipts. So that's how the SBA determines your small business side. The other requirement is you must be 51% unconditionally owned and controlled by women who are US citizens, and the women must manage the day-to-day operations and make the long-term decisions for the business. So let's talk a little bit more about the unconditional ownership part. The entity, again, must be at least 51% unconditionally and directly owned by one or more women. Direct means direct the ownership. It can't be held by another company or any type of trust or other ownership combinations except for a revocable trust is acceptable. The ownership also cannot be subject to acquisition by others, such as being bought out through stock options or other means. The woman or women must own the company with no possibility that it can be taken away from her by others. To continue the unconditional ownership conversation, the type of business plays a part too. Partnerships must have 51% of each class of partnership interest unconditionally owned by one or more women. LLCs must have 51% of each class of member interest unconditionally owned by one or more women. And finally, corporations must have 51% of each class of voting stock outstanding and 51% of the aggregate of all stock outstanding unconditionally owned by one or more women. Along with unconditional ownership, the women must control long-term decision making, which includes the ability to unilaterally exercise the powers common to a corporate board of directors. In essence, all decisions must be made by the woman, with no one having the ability to override the decision. The woman must also hold the highest position in the company and must control day-to-day management. The bottom line, must own and control absolutely the management, decision-making, and cannot be in the position to be overruled or the company taken away from the woman or the women. An additional part of the unconditional control is the woman must hold the highest position and devote full time to the business concern during the normal working hours of the business, and also cannot have outside employment that prevents her from devoting sufficient time to the woman-owned small business. In other words, the woman must be devoted full time to the business without outside employment that distracts from the running of the primary business. And men can be involved in the business in management to include stockholders, partners, or limited liability members, and may maintain the licensure for the business operation. But males may not exercise actual control over the concern. One example of this could be a construction company where men hold the license or certifications for the work or the trade to be performed, but the company is owned by a woman who makes all the decisions on how the company is managed and responsible for all contracts. This is a good point about the membership of men. I believe the reason they're going to this more stringent certification is because we have companies out there that have they've put a woman as the head, but they really run the company and they're just trying to take advantage of the certification. So that's part of the reason we're going to this more stringent certification process versus the self-certification. The economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business program requires that all the requirements of the WOSB program be met and that certain financial requirements are met. So this is all about, the EDWOSB is all about your income and your net worth. So to move on from just being a woman-owned small business, the program is going to dive completely into your economics and your finances. So one of the points is you have to be owned and controlled by one or more women, each with a personal net worth less than $750,000. You also have to be owned and controlled by one or more women, each with $350,000 or less in adjusted gross income averaged over the previous 3 years. And also be owned and controlled by one or more women, each $6 million or less in personal assets. And we're going to go into these a little bit more. So for the income part, if a woman's adjusted gross income over the past 3 years exceeds an average of $350,000, the SBA will presume that the woman is not economically disadvantaged. However, as part of that, you can exclude any income from the company that was reinvested in the company or used to pay company taxes. So if you're taking your income and putting it back into the company, you would be able to exclude part of that or that amount from your $350,000 cap. Income includes all sources, not just W-2s. So if you take any ownership draws, bonuses, company stock in lieu of cash, and you don't put it back in the company based on the previous bullet, that will be included in your income. However, if you happen to win the lottery or you receive an inheritance, you can rebut that that is an unusual source and not typical for your income. The woman's adjusted net worth must be under $750,000. And adjusted means the followings are excluded. So your equity in your personal residence, your equity in your business, and any income that you reinvested into the company, and 401ks or any similar account can be excluded from the $750,000. An unadjusted net worth must not exceed $6 million. The 401k or similar retirement account is excluded. However, the primary residence and the value of the EDWOSB is included. So you have to meet all three of those requirements for your net worth. And you'll have to provide all of that information when you do your application about your net worth and your income. You'll also have to submit financial information for your spouses, unless you're legally separated. The spouse's financial situation will be considered when a spouse has a role in the business or has lent money to or provided credit or financial support to guarantee the loan to the business. It also may be considered if the spouse's business in the same or similar line as the woman-owned small business and the spouse's business share a similar name, website, equipment, or employees. So be very careful with this. If you're going to go into business similar to your spouse's, that's something that you're going to have to report as well. So try not to mix them as much as you can if you're going to apply for the EDWOSB, because they will take that as sort of an affiliate to your company, and will use that income as well. Okay, so now we're going to change gears and talk about how to do the certification. So if you meet all the requirements as set forth in the previous slides, an entity can apply for certification. And the entity must have a DUNS number and be registered in SAM, the Systems for Award Management. If you need help with those, if you haven't registered in SAM yet, you don't have a DUNS number, we can help you with that. All the PTACs are set up to help with this. So if you haven't done that and you're interested in getting into federal contracting, I recommend you get with a PTAC so we can help you out. We'll walk you through all the steps. We'll even call and get the DUNS number for you and set you all up to get going starting in federal contracting. So for this process, the woman-owned small business certification, the process changed on July 15th of 2020, which I mentioned earlier is the big changes that are coming down to make sure that people who are certifying as a woman-owned small business actually meet all the requirements. Before it was just a self-certification process where you could say, yeah, I'm a woman-owned small business, and there wasn't much looking into whether you were or not. But there are now two ways to be certified. Self-certification has gone away. It will end in October. So there's two ways to be certified. The SBA certification site, which is free application. And then the second choice is the third-party certifier, which requires a fee. Some people were asking last time, I think it's believed between $300 and $600 to do the third-party certifier. The self-certification process will end on October 15th, like I said. And if a woman-owned small business is self-certified and currently has a federal contract, that self-certification is good for the term of the contract. But you should really get your entity registered through one of the two certification programs prior to obtaining any new contracts. So I just want to reiterate, you should no longer consider doing the self-certification process because it's going away. You can choose to go through the SBA certification site or the third-party certifier. And again, as PTACs, we will help you through this whole process. So don't feel like you have to do it on your own. You can sign up for PTAC. And like I said, we can help you through certification, DUNS and SAM, and any kind of certifications that you need to go through. We're here to help you for that. So please don't feel like you have to go alone when you're trying to do this. So one of the things, if you are already a veteran-owned business and you have your CVE certification through the Department of Veterans Affairs that documents ownership and control by women and economic disadvantage, if you have that, you can also get your WSB, EDWOSB, a little easier. When you go into the application, it'll ask you if you have one of these, and you can put the information in, and it'll help you fill out the certification a little bit easier because you've already been approved in one system. And again, the second one is the 8A Business Development Program. And if you don't know what that is, it's a program through the SBA where they'll take you in for a few years and help you along with building your business. However, you have to already be in business and have a record of performance before you can get into the 8A program. However, if you are an 8A and you want to get the Woman-Owned Small Business or the EDWOSB certification, it also makes it easier. They'll ask you in the beginning if you are 8A, and that kind of helps you get through the certification a little bit faster because you've already proven in your 8A certification that you're economically disadvantaged, because that's one of the parts of being an 8A company. So if you have either of those, it'll make your life a little bit easier if you already have them to get your woman-owned small business, because you've already proven that you meet requirements of these two programs, which are part of the woman-owned small business program. Okay, I talk a little bit about the third-party certification. There are 4 nonprofits that perform the third-party certification. And I have them listed here, and the links will also take you to their sites that you can review. Again, it does cost a fee. I've heard between $300 and $600. And also, even though you get your certification through these parties, you still have to apply on sba.certify.gov in order to get the Woman-Owned Small Business certification. And some of the caveats of that is the SBA certification may require different information than what you put in the third-party certification. And the third parties don't use the same process for reviewing documents that the SBA does. And the SBA can still request additional information to verify eligibility, even though you've already gone through the third-party certification. So I would say if you want to go through the certification, to do it through the beta certify sba.gov. And if you need help, go ahead and get a hold of the PTAC and we can help you through that. That will save you, a couple $100 to do it on your own. And with our guidance, it won't cost you anything. And so now I'm moving into the platform of how to get certified. And this is on the sba.certify.gov site. And I have a link there. So you can go check out the website. And I recommend you do that if you want to go forward with this. So one of the first steps that is in there is, am I eligible? So if you click on the am I eligible, it'll prompt you through questions and answers. And the results will show you which federal certification programs you qualify for. So this means it'll help you understand if you are 8A, Hub Zone, Woman-Owned Small Business, Veteran-Owned Small Business. It goes through all the questions for all of those certifications. And at the end, it will put out these answers to you. So I went in and I answered some questions, and it said, I can apply for the Woman-Owned Small Business, and it gave me a link on how to apply. And then also said I could qualify for the EDWOSB. And so it gave me links for both of those programs, saying that it looks like I'm eligible to apply for those. So that's kind of the first step to go through to see if you qualify. And if there are other programs like Hub Zone or Veteran-Owned, it'll also give you links for those. And at PTACs, we can help you through those certifications as well. And so the next part of the website is to prepare. They have a link for that. It makes the application process easier if you go in, click on the prepare link, and download the preparation checklist for which program. You can just print the whole thing. It has them both on there, the Woman-Owned Small Business and the EDWOSB, that you can follow along and gather all your documents. And it's really important to gather all the documents. They need to be in electronic form so you can attach them to the certification. And then I recommend putting them all in one file on your computer so that they're easily accessible, especially if you're working with a PTAC counselor. I tell all my clients to put them all in one file, mark it WOSB, whatever you need to do. And that way, when we're in the heat of the moment in the application, we don't have to fumble around and try and figure out where the documents are saved. So that's a really good tip if you're going to go through this, even if you're going to do it on your own. And the other good thing about the site is that they have a knowledge base. And I recommend kind of after you do am I eligible and you decide to go forward, to kind of come to the knowledge base first before you go to the prepare, because they have a lot of good information out here. They have training media, so videos on how to apply and what to do before you apply. It does have a user guide for the certification site. And again, here's more checklists, and then a quick start guide, their support, and then they have some facts on the program if you want to read some frequently asked questions before you get started. So I recommend going to Am I Eligible first, and then coming to the knowledge base and kind of reading through these or watching the videos, just to make sure you know what you're getting into before you apply for the certification. And once you decide to go forward, then go ahead and get that prepared checklist and get all your documents together and be ready to go. Now for the review timeline. So once you submit your application, if you have an incomplete package, they're going to return it to you. They're only going to review complete packages. They may require additional information. And if they do require additional information, when they send it back to you, they're going to open up the sections of the application that require further information and let you know what that is. And then you can change any answers or upload any new documents that they're requesting. Once you do upload it, they will tell you within 15 calendar days whether it's complete and suitable for evaluation, or they'll return it to you. So once you submit, give them 15 days to do that and let you know whether it's complete or not. The SBA has put out a 90 calendar days after receipt of a complete package as their timeline for approving the packages. I think once October 15th hits, everybody's going to be trying to submit. So, just have caution with the timelines. It may take them a little bit longer since it's all, going to hit the fan October 15th, so to say. So just be patient. And also the website has had some issues since the beginning, since July 15th. And I know that they're working on those. So part of getting the certifications is going to be patience with a new government system and a new government process, which may take some time to iron out and get moving smoothly. So there's some patience required in that. Once you do have your application in and you decide to go for a woman-owned small business set-aside or a EDWOSB set-aside, as long as you can show that you have your application in for the certification, you can still claim your woman-owned small business as a woman-owned small business certification. There's actually a place for contracting officers or contract specialists to log in and see if you're actually in the process of getting certified. So that's helpful. So don't feel like October 15th and you have your application in that you can't apply for a woman-owned small business solicitation. You can still do that. You'll just have to provide the information that you're in the process. So maintaining your certification. To remain certified, you have to annually represent to the SBA that you continue to meet the WOSB eligibility criteria. And then every 3 years, there'll be a full program examination. So they may ask you for updated documents on your, if you're EDWOSB, they may ask for updated documents on your financials. Just, documentation that proves that you're still the woman in charge or the women in charge of that company. And then I wanted to put these penalties in here for misrepresentation, just because they are trying to get the program under control, to make sure that the entities are actually women-owned small business and make sure that they're getting that representation in government contracting. So when you're filling out the application, just remember, if you're misrepresenting anything, it could lead to a suspension or debarment. You won't be able to get any government contracts. It could also lead to civil penalties or criminal penalties. So just be very truthful when you're putting the application in, and make sure that you're not misrepresenting the company in order to get the certification. And this is what the website looks like, the betacertified.sba.gov. I just wanted to go over, kind of have it in red here. Here's the am I eligible? So I'd like you to click on that. They also have it in a circle down here. You can go through and answer the questions and figure out which certifications you're eligible for. It's not just for women-owned, this is for all their certifications. Then second, once you determine you're eligible, it says, yes, you're eligible. Go to the knowledge base and kind of read and review, watch the videos, and just make sure that you know it's actually right for you. Kind of dig out your finances and make sure that you can apply for all of this. And then you can hit the prepare button, like I said, and get that checklist, although there is a checklist under the knowledge base as well. If you're in the system and trying to do the application and you have any problems, they have a help button here that you can submit a help ticket to the help desk to try and figure out any kind of technical issues or any problems with doing that certification. And I know they have, like I said before, it is a new system and there are some issues. So, you know, go ahead and click on that if you get stuck somewhere. I don't know what the response time is. I had a few clients that haven't had a response yet. But like I said, it's going to take patience in getting through this. I'd really like if you would apply to be a client for PTAC so that we can help you through these certifications, because it can be long and frustrating if you are trying to do it on your own. And our help is free. It's free to get the certification through certified.sba.gov. So it's not going to cost you anything to try to get your certification done. One other thing, when you come to log in, this is, just read this, is for federal government employees. This is where they're going to come and check your status. Your actual login will be down here on this bottom login. And if you've already registered in SAM, which you have to be in order to do the certification, your login credentials from SAM are going to get you in here too. So it's your login.gov credentials. You will need your MPIN from when you registered in SAM. So hopefully you wrote that down and have it somewhere safe, because the MPIN goes to a lot of different websites that you'll need. So it's your SAM MPIN for when you registered in SAM. If you're not registered in SAM, again, we'll be happy to help you through that. We'll get you a DUNS number. We'll get you registered in SAM if you're looking to do federal contracting. If you're on the boat about doing federal contracting, we can help you through that too. We have tools where we can look and see if the federal government is buying what you sell. We have a lot of good resources. So if you're just starting out, or if you have been in business a while and decided you want to go into government contracting, please sign up for PTAC and let us help you through that. It's a lot less frustration for you trying to figure it all out. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to James. And he'll talk about our upcoming events, our latest and greatest.
Absolutely, yeah. As always, we've got a lot coming up. Let's see if we can get to this next slide. So October's a pretty busy one. Coming up on the 7th, that's tomorrow. So we have 3 webinars this week. This one today, we have how to prepare for a virtual matchmaking and network webinar. That will, if you're interested in attending matchmaking and networking events in the future, we are going to walk you through what we think are the best practices. The following day we have, similarly, we have how to do a good power pitch, making a first great impression. That's basically, you know, pitching your business, giving an elevator speech, very useful for networking purposes. Let's see, I've just missed my view here. Then on the 21st, jumping ahead a little bit, we have a Government Contracting 101 webinar. Those are always useful for folks who are looking into getting into it. Then we have a government oops, what have I done? A couple errant clicks and it's all
Yeah,
gone.
it's all gone.
Okay. Here we go. And then on the 27th, which is my birthday actually, we have an intro to government contracting for women-owned businesses once again. So many of you will probably find that useful. That's PTAC and New America. Once again, the same partner we have for this webinar. And these are all free, and it looks like they all start at 10 a.m. So go ahead and check out our website, norcalptac.org/calendar. All of these, you can sign up on these Eventbrite links. And once again, everyone's getting these slides after the presentation, so you'll be able to click on all the links that you'd like. So now we have plenty of time for questions. Let's go ahead and get started. And appreciate everyone entering their questions during the presentation. It helps to highlight points of clarification. So let's dig right in, starting at the top. If I file joint tax return, do I include my husband's income and personal net worth?
Yeah, I assume you mean you're filing either through your Social Security number or a pass-through. You'll have to provide your tax return for that. It's going to include your husband's income and net worth, no matter what you do. So that's what they'll be looking for.
Okay. And Claire is wondering, is this applicable if I'm an independent contractor without employees?
As long as you have a business entity, you would be able to apply for the woman-owned small business.
All right.
You can be a single member LLC and still apply for a woman-owned small business. It doesn't matter about employees. You'll still be able to apply as long as you have a business set up.
Okay. Now we have a question from Lisa about expiry dates. If our WOSB expires in July of 2021, do we have until the expiry date to recertify?
No, you need to go ahead and certify now. Like I said, all self-certification goes away as of October 15th. So even though it says you expire then, you won't be able to claim self-certification. You have to go and certify and get that actual certification in the system.
All right, so don't delay.
Don't delay.
Nope, it's a good timing for this webinar here.
Yeah.
What are the differences between self-certification and two-way certification?
Well, I try to say don't even worry about self-certification since it's going away. But self-certification was when you were able to go in and answer questions and say, yes, I'm self-certified. They didn't really look into your business background, whether you're, actually owned by a woman-owned small business or, anything like that. Now they're digging deeper. They want all your documents and all your information so that they can actually go in and certify that yes, you are a woman-owned small business.
Great. All right. Danielle is asking, I have my DUNS, SAM, CAGE, etc. Is there anything else I need to do in order to certify?
Nope, that should be all. That should be all you need. As long as you're registered in SAM and have your DUNS, have your SAM MPIN, you're ready to register. As long as you, get all your documents together they ask for, go to the site, do the prepare, and look at the knowledge base and make sure you have all your documents ready to go.
All right. Wendy is asking, I'm a US citizen and own 50% of the business. The other 50% is owned by a twin sister who is a green card holder. Will we qualify, or do we need to change the percentage where I become 51% holder, or leave it as it is?
I would go ahead and if you're the American citizen, I would go ahead and change it to that you owe 51%, just so that it's, you know, a little clearer, a little cleaner for that.
All right. Solid, clear answer there. Marisol is asking, if I apply before the 15th, will that be okay, or will I need to have an agency helping me to make sure my application goes through?
Well, if you apply before the 15th, or I mean, anytime after that, it's going to take them 15 days to let you know your application is good or not. So I guess, is she asking if after the 15th she needs helping me to make sure my application goes through?
I think perhaps she's wondering if she needs to make sure that her application is fully received and processed before the 15th, perhaps.
Oh, okay, okay. No, you can apply anytime after the 15th. Like if you're just now learning about this, you don't have to apply before the 15th. You can get all your documents together and put it in. I'm just saying after the 15th, you won't be able to self-certify, and you won't be able to say that you're a woman-owned small business until you do the actual application and they receive a completed application. And then you can say, I have my completed application in, when you go to do a woman-owned small business solicitation or bid.
All right. Lisa Koner is asking, this is a question for me, does PTAC only support WOSBs in government contracting? If I understand you correctly, we serve all kinds of businesses. So pretty much our only criteria is, I mean, generally we work with small businesses, but our main criteria is that you're in our service area. So.
Yep. Yeah, we'll help anybody.
Mm-hmm. All right. Lisa has another question. How do we find primary contractors in large contracts for the purpose of subcontract to them? That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, that's a whole nother webinar.
You should check out our website. We have at norcalptac.org/webinars, I believe. We have a whole list of past webinars that we've held, and there are a couple that are specifically on subcontracting, and some of them we've partnered with large primes. So there's a wealth of information there. So go ahead and take a look at those if you'd like. And if you're eligible for our services, then your procurement specialist would also be able to walk you through how to find prime subcontracting opportunities. Claire says, thank you, Claire, for coming. Yeah. In registering sam.gov, do I include myself, owner, as an employee in size metrics?
No. For the size metrics, that's employees, and you're not considered an employee, you're considered an owner.
Employees and owners are separate. Linda is wondering, did you say you have to make at least $350,000 to qualify?
No.
Can't be right.
Let me go back to that. If you exceed 350, they're going to consider you not economically disadvantaged. So you need to make less than 350 a year to be considered economically disadvantaged. And we're only talking the EDWOSB portion of this. The woman-owned small business, you just have to prove that you're that you own the business, you're in charge of the business, you're large and in charge, and you can certify as a woman-owned small business. If you decide to go for the EDWOSB, the economically disadvantaged, then you have to follow all of these examples. You have to, open your books, as I say, to the certifier. You have to provide all this documentation about your income, and everything like that. That's only for the EDWOSB. If you just want to apply for woman-owned small business, it's much easier process. You don't have to give them all your financials.
All right. If I live in San Joaquin County, which is not in our area, that's true, but I conduct business at a location in Alameda County, can I still use PTAC services? So it doesn't matter where you do business. Norcal PTAC can assist people that want to do business in Maine or Florida. It doesn't matter. It's where your business is located. San Joaquin is not in our service area, but as I understand, you do have a local PTAC. I'm not sure exactly which one it is. But you can use that link, which I also use. Just find a PTAC. It's at APTAC, aptac-us.org. It's on the intro slides that you'll receive. And that will have a list of all the PTACs in the whole country. You can filter by state and just Control F and find San Joaquin. And that will be your go-to PTAC. So we are not alone. There's a lot of PTACs that are like us and also offer excellent services. Michelle wonders, do you need your capability statement completed prior to applying for certification?
No, you don't. It's not part of the requirement for certification.
All right, Wendy says thank you. Thank you for coming, Wendy. Karen is wondering, can you walk through the contract processes, bidding, etc.? That is quite a topic.
Yeah, check out some of our webinars. We also have Govology. If you're one of our clients, Govology has a lot of good training on it. But I can't walk through that right now. That's a whole nother webinar.
Yeah, this webinar is specifically for the certification.
Yeah, just for the certification.
And even then, we're sort of scratching the surface. So do take a look at the resources we have on file. Our website is chock full of good resources. Just want to pitch it once more. I am self-certified WOSB now. If I reapply by the 15th, if we are granted a contract before the new application is approved, will it show pending or will we not be considered on the bid as a WOSB?
Yeah, like I was saying, if you go ahead and apply and you have an approved application, if you go ahead and put in for a contract that is set aside for woman-owned small business, the contracting officer or the specialist can log in and see where your status is for that. And that, from what I understand, that will count as being in the process. They may ask SBA to, check your certification more quickly so that you can be awarded the contract. But yes, if you're self-certified, I recommend you get in there and get your certification in as soon as possible, especially if you're looking at a solicitation or a contract. If they award it to you as self-certified before October 15th, then you're good for the entire length of the contract. But it has to be awarded before October 15th as a self-certified. After October 15th, they're no longer accepting self-certified.
Great, thanks, Nancy. Someone is asking, if I registered as a WOSB, self-certified a few months ago, do I need to reapply in beta.snim.gov?
Yes, it's going away October 15th.
Great. Is there somewhere to verify prior certifications that may have expired?
You can go to, instead of beta-certify.sba, you can go to certify.sba.gov, and it should have your old application in there if you want to. They were telling folks to go in there and pull their documents off of there if you were going to apply for the other certification. So again, that would be certify.sba.gov. So the new site is beta.certify.sba.gov.
All right. Sonia is thanking us. Thanks, Sonia. We have one more question, unless we get more. Are current SBE certified businesses in the WOE application process expedited?
SBE. Is this, is she talking about for the state, I think? I think the state's the one that calls it SBE, right?
Maria, you are welcome to clarify your question there. Having a tough time answering it as it is, so you can type in another question in the Q&A. If you raise your hand, I can also unmute you if you'd like.
So I had a note in my slides that, any other certification outside of the woman-owned small business certification is not going to help or expedite you through the woman-owned small business application. So even if you're certified with the state as a small business, or through any women's business centers or any cities as a woman-owned small business, that's not going to help you get you through this application. This is totally federal application, and being certified somewhere else is not going to help unless you're do the third-party certification.
All right, Maria says that answered her question. So
Okay.
thanks, nicely fielded.
Oh, and then James Aldea gave us I was thinking it was California PTAC.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I thought it was, but I didn't want to say.
Yeah, that was the same. I thought it might be PTAC.
Yeah. Thanks, James.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Do we have any more questions here?
Nothing got dropped in the Q&A, did it? Or the
the chat. I guess we can check the chat.
We got 2 minutes.
Is Solano County in our service area? Yes, it is. So come on and apply. Diamond Garner's asking, are some NAICS codes not eligible for the WOSB program? I'm a CPA and it says my code is not eligible. Right.
So you can still register as a woman-owned small business, but if they do set aside for a woman-owned small business, that's when the NAICS codes will come into effect. So you can register as a woman-owned small business, but if they do a set aside and your NAICS isn't part of the woman-owned small business program for set asides, then it won't count towards that set aside.
I'm not sure I understand this question from Jennifer.
I don't know.
Do you know? Okay, we can skip that.
I don't know. But since COVID hit, I can't plan any events. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she can.
Yeah, Jennifer, you want to provide a clarification, although we really are just about at the end of the webinar.
Yeah.
So if we don't have any more questions for right now, I just want to thank everyone. And then also a special thank you to Darlene Neal, who was kind enough to partner with us for these 2 webinars and for just being here and working with us. Thanks, Darlene.
Thank you.
And Nancy, thank you for all your research and putting together this presentation. And of course, everyone, thanks for joining. You make it possible. We do this to help you guys succeed, which is what our interest is. So we're going to cut things off here. I want to let you know that when you exit this webinar, you are going to be redirected to a survey if all goes well. This is a Google form. You can fill that out anonymously and just let us know how we did. It's important to us and it's important to our funder to help us stay funded. So just give us, your honest feedback, whatever it is. If you want us to keep getting funded and improving our services. So like I mentioned before, everyone's going to get the video recording and the slides. So rest assured, those will come to you most likely this afternoon once everything finishes processing on the digital end. And I think that is about it. Thanks for joining, everyone, and have a good rest of your Tuesday.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.